ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਥੋੜੀ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਬ੍ਰੌਡਕਾਸਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਨਮੁਖ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ। ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਐਰਿਕਾ ਸਟੈਨਫੋਰਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਨਵੀਆਂ ਆਈਆਂ ਨੇ, ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਿਵਿਟੀ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰੈਕਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ, ਜੀ ਆਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਰਿਕਾ ਨੂੰ। Erica, welcome to Radio Spice once again.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Wonderful. And Erica, I guess from last time we spoke, there's been a lot of announcements and a lot of recommendations that have come through. I guess I just wanted to quickly restart from where the minister made his announcements, immigration minister, in terms of what the new immigration settings will be, prioritising the green list and also the pathway to residency. But it's just created a lot of challenges, especially within the migrant community. How do you see that, in its entirety to begin with? What are your thoughts about the new policy announcement by the immigration minister?
Sure. Well, I guess the first thing I thought was that I was underwhelmed. We were expecting quite a lot, and everything that he did, he could have done in the old system. He didn't need to have an immigration reset or rebalance. It really ended up just being a bit of a tweak of a few things. I think the thing that I was most disappointed with was the fact he didn't announce the migrant category pathway to. So while we got the green list, about 85 jobs, everybody else has no pathway to resident. So when we're trying to attract workers in June or July, I should say, we're not going to see the numbers that we need. There's still no clear pathway to resident for the skilled migrant or point system. That's still under review, and we don't know when it's going to happen. So I guess that was a big disappointment. And I think the other things that I was disappointed with were the changes to the partners work. So if we were to attract some amazing people to this country, in the past we gave them partnership visas, open work visas. He's not doing that anymore. He's saying, if you come to New Zealand, your partner has to get a work visa in their own right. And that's going to be difficult for a lot of partners, especially in English-speaking countries, who aren't necessarily going to be able to find a job straight away at median wage. So that's going to be a big hindrance. The green list was a bit of a shamble. Nurses, teachers, and midwives have got to residents for no reason. He still hasn't been able to get a good answer as to why that is. So I guess it looks all very last minute, knee-jerk, not very well thought through, and it's not going to attract the people that we need.
Yep. Erica, I guess we are competing against the world when it comes to, say, within our community. You got Canada and now Australia next door, who have opened doors with a red carpet. There's a very quick, I guess, come on through announcement, and we will do whatever it takes to get you through and working for us as soon as possible. But here we are in New Zealand, where competing globally doesn't seem like that we will have any real numbers coming into the country, given how this policy hasn't really got legs to stand on. Then in those situations, there are a lot of people who are in New Zealand also thinking of shifting overseas, because talent doesn't stay for too long, it doesn't wait for too long. So in that scenario, how does the future look to you, I guess, with all of these predicaments?
Well, it was interesting last week when APM, or the Reserve Bank Governor, the OCR again, for the second time in a row, 50 basis points. By the way, that's the first time it's happened in our nation's history. And it was very interesting to listen to his comments around the economy and getting back on track again. He said the single biggest hindrance to our able to gear up our economy, the biggest handbrake in our economy is access to skilled labour. So you can see, on the one hand, he's trying to dampen down inflation by using interest rates, but he can see we need to gear up our economy, we need to be moving, producing, and we can't do that because we don't have skilled labour. We've got people leaving the country. We've got net negative migration numbers of about 8,000 at the moment. And funnily enough, most of those are migrants that are leaving, not Kiwis, but migrants. So we've got people exiting the country, and we haven't got a system to put people in. As you've mentioned, every other country in the world is fighting over the same talent. The borders open, actively encouraging working people to their shores. And here we are. We've got our green list. By the way, the instructions that haven't been written yet, how you apply for it, how long it's eligible. Those immigration instructions haven't been written yet. That's not even in operation. The work visa program on the 4th, that's when work visa holders can apply for their visas, is July. By the time they get the visa, it's going to be maybe August, September by the time they get here. So we're really not looking at getting workers in close to the end of the year. And as I've said, there's no pathway to residency. So my concern is, even if they can apply for a visa in July, are they going to come? There's no pathway to residence. I suggest
Absolutely, I can give you that answer. Given there are no, marketing boards in India, for sure, tell people to jump on a plane to come to New Zealand. I mean, that really is a precursor most of the time. And you talk to the travel agents, nobody's booking the tickets to New Zealand. Coming back into the current settings as well. Productivity Commission also made recommendations, and they were very similar to Erica, what you've been putting it out there as well. So how do you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was really interesting because I was expecting the productivity commission to come out and say very different things than what they did. And it's interesting that a lot of what they said is exactly what I've been banging on about to you about. For months, we need pathways to residence. We need processing of visas. The thing that I thought was really interesting was that there was a real lack of transparency around how immigration operates, and also around their planning. There's this real lack of planning, and you can see that in all of their operations. So there's a lot coming out. There's a lot still we're working on around their lack of planning. So the Commission, I think, rightly backed up everything. Very interestingly, they backed up the saying the whole time, decouple work visas for employers, migrant extension is the single most important thing we can do. And they called for it as well, which was
Indeed. I guess, Erica, I just wanted to get your opinions on the green list and the second tier list, as to put it. The categories that have been prioritized. It seems very clearly that it is very anti-migrant centric. That there's a strong opinion in that, in a sense that you're trying to really push away a lot of the current workforce profile in some of the, let's pick Middlemore Hospital. Most of the nurses here, all the your daycare staff, they're very. It seems that there is a deterrent now being set for them, and why would they wait for two years? I mean, what are your opinions on that?
I've got many opinions on this. The reason for the 2 years, I'm still trying to work out. The minister has made claims about why he did it. They don't seem to be true. And I can tell you exactly what happened. He's created a 2-year list because he was lobbied by the AIDS Care Association, who employ nurses, thousands of nurses. Uh, they lose their nurses to the DHB because they can't compete on pay with the DHB. And so they keep losing their nurses to the DHB who come and poach them. So the Aged Care Association, in my opinion, rightly went to the minister and Bob and lobbied and said, look, if you give them residence, these nurses, immediately, they will come to us for maybe a couple of months and then they'll go straight to the DHB and we won't be able to provide care to our elderly. So what they lobbied for was, can you give them residence after 2 years of working for the aged care sector and tie them to their employer for 2 years? And either Chris Farfoy didn't understand what they were asking, or he got overruled. So he understood they need to be tied for 2 years before they can get residence. He got that part. What he didn't understand was they need to be tied to the aged care sector for 2 years. What he's done is said that as long as they're tied to the sector, as long as they keep nursing, they can get residence after 2 years. He either misunderstood the point or someone overruled him at the last minute. So now we're stuck with the worst of both worlds. Nurses who have to wait 2 years before they can apply for residence, and they can still jump between aged care and the DHB. So we're no better off. We've got the worst of both worlds. Nurses will just go to Australia, send it out to the US where they can get residence the day they land. So he hasn't solved anyone's problems. He's trying to make up an excuse by saying, well, he's got evidence, which I know he doesn't, that nurses leave their profession once they get their residence. Now, I know he doesn't have that evidence because no one was backing him up on it. So we're doing a bit of work in the background. But that's the reason for creating the 2-year list, and it's based on the minister misunderstanding what the Aged Care Association were asking for. So that's my problem with that list. When you talk about it creating disincentives for other migrants, I would agree. What he needed to do at the same time as announcing the green list was announce the pathway to residence for everyone else at SMC. He really needed to say, right, here are the occupations that are in such high demand, they can get residence immediately. And I tend to agree with it. I quite like the idea of immediate residence for the people we are critically short of, like doctors. No problem with that. The problem was he didn't say to everybody else, here's your pathway to residence. It doesn't exist. They're still working on it. After 2 years, they're still working on it. So that was the problem. What he really needed to do was say, here are the people in high demand, you can have straight away. Everyone else, we still value you, we still want you here. Here is your pathway, here are the points you need, how much you need to earn, and how long it will take, but he just didn't get there.
Indeed. And Erica, in terms of the numbers being pulled out of processing team, the one-off residence visa category, and there is a huge backlog already, and it seems that nobody seems to care about them, and now it's probably going to go past end of next year. It's left a lot of people, in the limbo, even, prolong some of the people's plans. Just to begin with, how do you see that, panning out, given that some people may actually decide to just pack up the bags and say, bugger this, and couldn't be bothered. So how do you envisage that, that we are already backtracking on what we promised to a lot of people who were looking for a one-off residency?
Well, the whole point, you will remember, of creating the one-off residency visa was to get rid of the backlogs of residents that we had. Remember, we had those huge backlogs going back 2 years. The whole point of R21 was that it was fast-tracked. He was going to do 80% in 12 months. He has never been on track for that, not from day one. Not at any point along the last 6 months has he been on track to get it done in 6 months, not one day. So we all knew that it was going to take much longer. He reneged on his promise this year. So 2 weeks ago he said going to be 18 months now. He's currently not on track to 80% until January or February of 2024. So he's well blown out over 2 years. And you rightly point out that migrants who were already sitting in the queue have now just effectively been transferred to another queue. It's going to take 2 years. And they will vote with their feet, because if you can go to Australia and earn more and have better prospects and get your residence in quick, smart time, why would you not do that? Rather than being stuck here in a queue that goes nowhere, you can't buy a house, you can't have your kids can't go to university. Not very appealing, and we're right where we started.
Indeed. In terms of the student category now being allowed to come into the country from the 1st of July, how do you see that moving forward?
Well, it's a little bit too little too late. Unfortunately, it's the 31st of July, and that will not be enough time to get students here for university for semester two. So the 5,000 cap that we strangely had, I don't know why we had a cap. Well, I do know. It's because they hadn't worked on their student policy until they didn't announce it for weeks. Um, but that 5,000 cap won't change much this year because it's just too late. These institutions, our universities and cities, our high schools need to lead in. They need time to market to students to get them ready to come. And I think that we will see, we might get a few extra high schools in June 4, but for the most part, we will not see the numbers that we need coming back in any way until probably term one, semester one next year. So I'm not expecting to see many students back this year.
Okay, I guess it really speaks of a very dire, situation for everybody who's stuck in this, whirlpool, really, in terms of the policy settings. I guess if, say, next October National comes into power, what would be the first few things yourself will try to reset and prioritize, given where we are and where we're heading in the next 9 to 12 months?
I think the single biggest thing we need to do is sort out immigration in New Zealand. We know that for a period, it's not a great working environment. There's a revolving door of stigma. They're constantly on the back foot because they're having to hire new people who don't have any experience and to train them up. Um, there is a culture problem, it sounds like, in Immigration New Zealand, and that's got to really come from the top. And I think that a minister who's not been interested, not been involved, not getting the to drive in performance. I think a change in leadership for someone who is driving performance in that department is absolutely what we need. But in terms of policy, we need to look, it depends where we are when we get an office. If they haven't got the SMC sorted, pathways to residence, the parent category sorted, which we want to do with long-term entry visas for parents, which is going to be really important to attract people here. We will reverse some of those policies around work rights for partners, work rights for students. We really want to ramp up again to make sure that we're back near the numbers that we had previously, but in quality courses who have pathways to residence. So there's a lot of work to be done. It will involve the National Party and the national government working with sector bodies, chambers of commerce, and regional councils to work out where are the skilled shortages, where are they needed, who do we need to make sure we're bringing in those people, because we have to realise that we need people in different sectors and different skill levels right across the country. We need to be a little bit more nuanced with our policy to make sure we're bringing in those people and not just the people you see on the green list at the moment. We need to make sure there are pathways for everybody that we need in this country so that we can get our economy humming. And as Adrian all pointed out, in order to pour our way out of this debt spiral we're in at the moment in our economy, we have to get the economy firing, and that means we need access to labour.
Indeed. Well, I guess just concluding questions. Erica, what about the parent category? I mean, that is something, even from from July, you'll be able to apply for a visitor's visa. How, I guess in the long term, what are your views about the parent category?
My views are that we need a different product. We need a product that allows people to be with parents for a much longer period of time. Some kind of very long-term multiple entry visa that does require health insurance, um, because there are a lot of people we've just been residents to who are now staying in New Zealand who want to see their parents, and there are a lot of people who we want to attract who also want their parents to come to be able to stay for long periods of time. So we're working on a product at the moment that we would add to the suite of immigration visas to allow parents to come for much shorter periods of time, come and go as they please, as long as they have an acceptable standard of health and they have health insurance.
Thank you for your time, Erica. Once again, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Erica Stanford, immigration spokesperson for National. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Radio Spice. Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.